basically, what is the difference between race and ethnicity, right? What I think that the term is, if I'm proud of who I am, how is that racism? So if I'm white and I'm proud to be white, is that racism?
Right. Good. Yeah, and that's I'm actually in a new learning journey, getting connected with my own ethnic identity, right? Because one of the things that I said in defining whiteness is that within whiteness, ethnicity is optional, right? So like Sam, how would you identify your ethnicity?
So for me, I am African. I'm Ghanaian, right?
Ghanaian, right.
Ghanaian, yeah.
Right. And so,
go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. So like, that's what I'm saying. Like I in my relationships with my BIPOC colleagues and friends, there is a deep affection among most of them for their ethnic identity. Even my African-American friends, right? Like my African-American friends, the journey that they're going on recently, and I've watched this over the last probably 5 to 7 years, is getting more deeply in touch with the roots of their ancestors, right? Because they're sick of their lineage being tied to the plantations in the South. Their ancestors, the lineage actually unjustly crossed an ocean, and they're Ghanan, they're Ugandan, you know? And so, so with regard to ethnicity, I think it's interesting. Like, I'd be cautious to folk who are like, yeah, I want to be proud to be white. Like, I'm not saying like, yeah, don't be proud to be white, but like, what does that even mean? Like, what does like white, Germans weren't white a few hundred years ago. Italians weren't white because we actually wanted to diminish them and put them in a lower class when they made their way over to the United States, right? So they had to figure out how they could posture themselves to achieve whiteness. Whiteness is not an ethnicity. So I am Nordic American. And so the journey that I'm on right now is getting back in touch with my ancestral roots to the Nordic traditions. And not only like in like family tree stuff, but like, what were the rituals of the Nordic people? What was the spirituality of the Nordic people? What was the disposition of and as I do this work, it's helping me understand myself more. Now, I don't introduce myself as Nordic American quite yet, but I could see a moment in time where savvy white people who are doing the work and are in touch with their ethnic identities begin to identify ourselves as, I'm Nordic American. Like my buddy Ben might say, formerly I'm African American. Now he'd say he might be consider himself Ghanaian American, at some point. So that's how I would distinguish those things.